Hey Joseph, did you do a 10-minute testing video this week?
Yeah, I did Emancipator.
Emancipator was 2.5 weeks ago.
Oh, must have slipped my mind.
What have you been doing all this time?
Oh, work mostly. I'm doing a lot of projects, so mostly work, I would say.
Projects! And would any of those projects have to be looking at cute anime boys online?
Maybe.
Well, what if I told you the new archetype included a lot of cute anime boys?
Good afternoon, Jank enthusiasts. I'm MBT, and this is 10-minute testing. Oh, it's been so very long since our last little rendezvous. Why, the last time I made one of these, the best decks were VW, Dinosaur, and Zoo Eldritch. I'm sure much has changed in the wake of the... Oh, word? Oh, nothing? Well, okay, forget the meta then. Let's jump back into what this channel's always been about. Hot boys and slow as molasses control decks. Presenting Amazement Traptrix. Before we begin, a quick reminder. The 12th and final Yu-Gi-Oh! Quarantine series of the year will happen this Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I know it's funky, the extravaganza is on the 19th, and I don't want to run one of these in the middle of Christmas weekend. It'll be a small event, so be quick on the click. Signups will go up for patrons Saturday, and everyone else Sunday at 6 p.m. on the Community tab. So here's the list, and God, it feels weird to talk through one of these again. As always, I'll give you a background about the archetype, a little bit of a discussion about what I hope the deck can do, and of course, the card by card. But first, this video is sponsored by Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck. Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck is an online strategy site for our mutual favorite card game. It's got a deck builder, card database, and a wealth of strategy articles. It's also where I post the Quarantine Series deck breakdowns, so give it a look at www.ygoprodeck.com. With that, let's amuse ourselves with Amazement. Amazement is the has-been hotel archetype. No, wait, the sexy carnival worker archetype. No, I was right the first time. Anyway, Amazement cards fall into two categories. Beefy, playful boys with cute hair and gorgeous eyes. And equip trap cards that are all references to existing archetypes. The trap cards all have two effects which change based on the control of the monster they're equipped to. Thankfully, there's not too much to learn. Of the 6 or 7 trap cards included in their first wave, 2 of them are any good. The Nephthys trap, which is either an MST or a Stratos, and the Ghost Trick trap, which is either a Book of Moon or an Effect Veiler. These traps are all extremely searchable, exceptionally powerful, and can be turned into removal spells once burnt by using Velokino's effect. Unfortunately, without Velokino on board, this archetype does a whole lot of nothing. You've got a lot of ways to find this magnificent multi-faker, but getting him out of your hand requires a trap card. Enter Traptrix. The other archetypes that care about traps, Altergeist and Eldritch, have some funky monster locks that prevent us from sending in the clowns. Traptrix Sarah, however, remains the most powerful card without a home in the entire game. By the time we get the Amazements, we'll also have 2 new pieces of support for these profile pictures that signal bad opinions. Gina Loa, who is a free special, and Ultracularia, which drastically increases the ceiling on your Sarah plays. By searching trap holes, we should be able to both set up enough interruptions to steal games, and enable our hunky Harlequin. So with that, let's get into the card by card. Firstly, the amazing Amazements! 3 Velokino, or maybe it's Arlecchino, I can't really tell. The first letter of this character's name is an upside-down A, and God knows how that's getting localized. We'll call him Velokino. Anyway, this card can be summoned when a trap card is activated, can equip an opponent's monster with an Amazement trap when they summon it, and can pop cards by banishing burnt traps. Next, 1 Comica, who searches an attraction trap and can move it as a quick effect. She's strong, don't get me wrong, but we already have enough normal summons in the deck. Next are our Traptrix, 3 Murmello, 3 Mantis, 1 Dionene, and 1 Gina Loa. Finally, we're on 3 Nibiru. For spells, we're on 3 Disparity, 3 Time Ticket, which searches Velokino on your turn and a trap on your opponent's, and a Double or Nothing. For traps, we're on 3 Infip, 3 Torrential, 3 Shade Brigandine, 3 Cyclone Coaster, 3 Horror House, which is an exercise in not getting demonetized, and a trap hole suite of Gravediggers, Bottomless, and Nightmare. In the extra, we've got Zeus, the Utopia Boys, Redoer, Tornado Dragon, Baguska, Abyss Dweller, Rafflesia, Access Code, Nightmare's Unicorn, Phoenix, and Cerberus. Listen, I got the name right once, what more do you want? And 2 Sarah. So with that, let's jump into the games. Our first match is up against Phantom Knights, and this is a little sad. When was the last time a deck was prophesized to do as much as Phantom Knight, and then accomplished literally nothing? We're going first, we're going to lead with a copy of Time Ticket for Velakino, we're going to normal summon a copy of Mantis, and then make a Serra, set a Torrential, and pass. Not a lot of traps, but Torrential is about as good as it gets. Our opponent's going to lead with a Rhoda, and then fire off this Sneck, and what do you know, in a 6-card hand, American Sniper, we hit it. They're going to special summon that sucker back, then normal summon a Tier Scale, specialing a Kagabucha Knight, at which point we will gladly take the 3 for free. We'll trigger the effect of Serra and the effect of Velakino, that gets us a copy of Mirmello from deck. Now, Mirmello's effect is mandatory, so even if they don't have any spells and traps, it triggers, and then Serra triggers afterwards. They're going to go for a Seer, we'll trigger the effect of Velakino in order to equip a Horror House to this card and set it face down. They'll pass turn, and we should be able to win from this position. We'll normal summon a copy of Kamika, and then use her effect in order to get a second copy of Horror House. We'll proceed to the battle phase and walk over everything our opponent holds dear before in main phase 2, shutting the door by making an Abyss Dweller. We'll set one card and wish our opponent good luck. They draw an Ash Blossom just a little bit too late. We'll go for the Abyss Dweller, at least it wasn't a Gamma. They're going to go for Ancient Cloak. I go for a Cosmic Coaster here because I figure we're a little ahead, but unfortunately I run into the Ash Blossom. They make Verte and I forgot to negate the effect. Oh god. Okay, we're going to have to contend with Dragoon this game, I suppose. We're going to try and get some value off the Serra while we still can. We'll activate Shade Brigandine and then get a copy of Mantis from deck. We'll trigger the effect of Mantis so that we can set from our deck a copy of Gravediggers. If we ever get to resolve it, we win. They'll activate Dragoon a couple of times, removing all the high impact monsters from our side of the field and putting us at a meager 700 life points. But, oh, we could just switch this Mantis to attack. Whew! Alright, game saved. Our second match is up against Virtual World, and wow, this is such fantastic news! I'm going to be able to butcher both Chinese pronunciation and Italian pronunciation in the same replay. We're going first, we're going to lead with a copy of Amazing Time Ticket. That's going to add a Velakino to hand, at which point we will normal summon a Mirmello. That's going to add a Gravedigger's Trap Hole to our grip. We'll set 4, go into Serra, and pass. Optimal Yu-Gi-Oh, ladies and gentlemen. Our opponent's going to fire off a copy of Pot of Desires, at which point they will activate Qinglong, then activate the effect of Lili. We're going to activate Gravediggers because that's probably the highest impact one they could have, at which point we will activate the effect of Serra and the effect of Velakino. Velakino will be summoned, and we'll summon a Mirmello to destroy the Qinglong and trigger the effect of Serra. This seems a little counterintuitive, and the punish is Kaloon, but wait till you see what we do to their normal summon. They're going to then normal summon a copy of ZC. We will activate Velakino's effect so we can tuck that sucker face down, and while it's face down, it certainly isn't a Virtual World monster. They'll set one card and pass. Unfortunately, it is the Chuche. We'll flip up this copy of Cyclone Coaster, at which point they will chain the effect of Chuche, destroying our copy of Velakino. Long may he live. We'll trigger the effect of Serra to get a copy of Mantis, and trigger the effect of Mantis so we can trigger the effect of Serra, but I think we are actually out of trap holes. We'll go into the Link 2 and do 15 to our opponent, at which point we'll go into Serra, and at end phase trigger the Link 2 to bring back the Mirmello and trigger her effect to destroy the Chuche. Things are looking up. Our opponent draws a Nyan Nyan, they'll normal summon it, we'll activate Bottomless Trap Hole, and they are forced to pass. We'll trigger the effect of Serra as well to get a copy of Mantis. Wow, I mean, we really have everything we could ever want. For turn, we draw a copy of Infinite Impermanence, a little too late, but no big deal. The cards on field will be more than enough to take this game. So it's time for game 3, and you know what that means, a best of 3 versus meta. Our opponent's playing Drytron, and our pledge to never read these cards becomes more and more indefensible with each passing day. We'll lead with a copy of Mirmello, and then we will go into a Serra and activate Shade Brigandine. This is why we're playing it, folks! This triggers the effect of the Serra and allows us to get a Mantis. We're going to set one card, then activate Mantis' effect, return it to the hand, at which point we will trigger the effect of Serra and set a copy of Bottomless. Powerful. We'll set 2 more, go into Redoer, who I like making in the dark, and pass it back to our opponent. That card doesn't exist yet. We'll activate Redoer's effect and stand by. They'll go for a Terraforming, and ooh, Fafnir is one of the very few times that I'm actually going to get value off of Redoer's effect, so we'll return it to the top of the deck. They'll go for an Emergency for a Core. Wait, that's a super interesting normal summon. It searches Emergency. We're going to equip it with a copy of the Cyclone Coaster so we can get a Velakino to deck as we resolve the effect of Serra, and they'll make a Mega Fleet. Why didn't I see that coming? Okay, no big deal. From here, they're going to activate the effect of Zeta in hand. We'll activate Gravediggers, and activating a trap, of course, allows us to activate from hand the copy of Velakino. They'll activate the effect of Alpha in Graveyard and summon it back, at which point they're going to fire off, ooh, the Ritual Spell for Qua. Well, we can use Velakino to get a copy of Horror House and tuck that sucker face down. Our opponent's going to pass turn, and we have to figure out how to out a 4,000 defense butt. No big deal, we'll activate Redoer's effect, and a trap card, don't mind if I do. We'll activate the effect of Mantis, and then summon the Ginaloa that we searched. From here, we can overlay for a copy of Utopia Double and use its effect to get Utopia and a double or nothing. We'll switch our monster to attack position, we'll attack and not negate the effect, they'll activate Qua's effect and get 2 Drytrons from Graveyard, we'll attack, activate Redoer to put the other one on top of the deck, get in for 15, and then attack with Velakino, negate its attack, activate double or nothing, targeting Velakino, and get in for lethal. So it's time for game 2, and I have literally no idea what type of boards this deck is capable of building. They're going to lead with a copy of Nova, summoning from deck a copy of Delta, at which point they will fire a Where Art Thou for a Gamma. They'll go for the Gamma, and then afterwards they're going to go for the Zeta in hand. That's going to get them the Ritual Spell for the monster already in grip, followed by a Delta. They will draw one card and then fire off the Alpha, searching from deck to hand the Necros. They'll go for the Ritual Spell, then activate the Ritual Spell, targeting their big boy, to activate it again and summon the Necros. This is one monster negate. I should be able to beat this, especially with a Disparity off the top. We'll activate Disparity, and then we'll activate Time Ticket as well. We'll get the third Vellikino and find off the top. Really hoping for a good trap? Wow, these are terrible. Okay, no big deal. We can normal summon this copy of Comica, and even if it's negated by the Necros, which of course it is, we're going to be able to flip up this copy of Shade Brigandine and then fire off the Torrential. Unfortunately, I get a little greedy, and I forget that this card has attached to it a Heavy Storm. No big deal, we can go for the Vellikino, they will go for the Ritual Spell once again. They'll fire off the Nova they drew for a Ross Beta, I believe? I've never seen this card. We're going to equip a Horror House, but unfortunately they tribute it right off. They'll go for an Alpha as well with the card that they drew, and then, oh boy, it is a hop, skip, and a jump to lethal. They'll go for a Gamma, bringing back the Beta, and then use Zeta's effect in Graveyard as well. This is not good. Why are they playing Assembled Nightingale? That makes literally no sense. Oh, it attacks directly. Yep, okay, that's going to be a game 3 out of me, buddy. So it's time for that all-important game 3 and... Yeah, this is going to be a tough one. We'll pass it back to our opponent, who for turn draws a copy of Nova. Fantastic. They'll go for Fafnir first and foremost to get the Ritual Spell before firing off the Nova to get a copy of Alpha. From here, they're going to activate Where Art Thou? That's looking really good here. They're going to go into Delta and then trigger the effect of Delta before triggering the effect of Gamma, using Gamma's effect to bring back the Delta, then activating Alpha in Graveyard, triggering Alpha's effect as well. They'll activate Zeta's effect finally before firing off some Ritual Spells. They're going to go for the Meteorus for a Saphira, at which point we will Torrential. They're going to set one and pass. So they've got nothing. But so do we. We'll pass back to our opponent, who draws Where Art Thou for turn, and passes back to us. Okay, this should break the stalemate. We'll fire off this copy of Pot of Disparity and find off the top a monster. Okay. Wow, these are some stinkers. Okay, I guess I will take this one. It is named Traptrix after all. It can go into Sarah. We'll activate Shade Brigandine in order to summon from deck using Sarah's effect a copy of Mirmello. We'll activate Mirmello's effect to destroy that unknown, and what do you know, it's the counter trap. We'll activate Sarah's effect to set a Gravediggers and go into Abyss Dweller. We'll proceed to the battle phase and do half the damage we normally would, but no big deal, this should be enough. We'll pass back to our opponent, who for turn draws a Gamma. We'll activate Abyss Dweller's effect. They will pass turn, and whew, I can't believe we made it out of this one. Okay, we can activate that Shade Brigandine we have set. We will activate the effect of Sarah in order to get another Mirmello. We'll activate Mirmello's effect to destroy the Fafnir, and then we can overlay for a copy of Redoer at the end of this entire chain. We will get in for very, very slightly over lethal. So we're back with the deck, and, well, we did win, but the die rolls did a lot of work that set. Let's do the pros and cons. First, the pros. 1, it's strong. I mean, obviously Sarah was already bonkers, but wow, Vellikino is insanely pushed. Absolute mad lad. The pop is one thing, but the search and the body? I mean, whew. It's not that surprising, however. You don't look that good being unplayable. 2, the two archetypes complement each other extremely well. Sarah's been looking for a home for a while now, and this looks like it. Vellikino gives it aggro potential, and Traptrix slows down the game enough that the Amazements get a chance to be amazing. And 3, traps are better than they've been in, like, decades. Torrential is game-winning again. I mean, my god. And the cons. 1, sometimes you draw the wrong half of your deck. You can't really adjust the ratios because you need both Traptrix and Trap cards, but oftentimes you'll only draw one of the two. 2, its ceiling is way lower than other meta decks. Basically, this means that sometimes you're giving a deck an extra turn it didn't earn, and it can use that to sincerely run you over. And 3, it sucks ass going second. Obviously, there are tools that mitigate this, Lightning Storm, Triple Tactics talents, but that'll turn this otherwise mid-budget deck into a down payment on a house. All in all, it's an extremely cool deck, and I hope there's more better Amazements released in the future. Until then, I will be buying Vellikino in its highest rarity for a shrine in my house. So that's that. As always, thanks to my patrons, Dominic Ernst, Hakuo. Oh my god, I haven't done this in 2 weeks. Oh, there's so many new people. Okay. AJBYGO, Alex Perea, Candyman, Crispy, Dimsum05, Frosty, King Magic Ruler, Night Mary, Lavender Lemonade, Mike Carlotti, Rocky Hernandez, Rose Lapine, Seeker, Sir Tachyon, Space Dandy 1993, Tyler Slacks, Whackmina, Adam Trevino, Adrian Ba, Amade Elefandi, Algisa Marcinkavicius, Andrew Benson, Andrew Ferruia, Andrew Horseman Linderman, Angry Bread, Apex Systems, Billy Williams, Blake Root, Black Candide, Chad Bortz, Chess Prime, Torps Away, CJ Alex, Dan the Man Hoban, Darcy Teds, Dylan Conley, Dive Missile, Donnie Phillip, Distrin, Emperor Stove, Ernesto Ibarra, Fighting Fangwong, FUTR, Hank Cheesecake, Inner Crescent, Isaac Jackson, Jane Linnea, Jared Lorman, Jason Leonard, Jeff Leonard, Jose Luis Cortez, Julia Chulian, Corey Hess, Kurakaze, Lawrence, Lucas Geardas, Lucky Number 5, Lucas Rizzo Hansen, Mac the Moderate, Major Duncan, Meadow Edits, Mezzo Emrys, Michael Oskavar, Miyun Arashi, Nick Extreme 99, Nick Dolores, Papa Dragonite, Picnic Blasted, Pro FB2, Pro Yugadad, Samsoon, Sapphic Ashley, Sean Deal, Second Shine 55, Standards Objective, Swinkles, This Machine 237, TJ Steakhouse, Yuri's Best, Zach Janchewski, Zach McKee, and Yuki A. If you like what you see, please consider subscribing. And if you want to be part of the process, consider following me on Twitch as well. See you next time.